What is going on, Wildlife X team? This is Michael here, and in today's video we're going to be showing you what you should do if your heater goes out in the winter or you're stranded in a very cold environment, because in the extreme cold temperatures you need to be very prepared in order to survive. It's estimated that severely cold temperatures kills 20 times more than rather hot temperatures, so you need to be prepared for cold temperatures. This guide should help you stay alive, but it is not medical advice, and we recommend prevention over trying to fix a situation that already happened. So don't be stupid, don't put yourself in situations where you could get harmed. But without further ado, if you find yourself in a situation like that, this is your best advice. So the first thing you should do is be absolutely prepared before any disasters actually happen. You should have a crisis kit in your home, which is going to have electricity, food, water, blankets, lots and lots of blankets, so that way you can cover up and stay warm. You should also have batteries, flashlights, and even a radio or just some type of communication device, so that way in a worst case scenario, if a blizzard hits your home, you're going to have contact with the outside world, you're going to have electricity, you're going to be able to call for help, and you're going to have other food, water, supplies, because you're not going to be able to go out there in the severe cold, and instead that way in your safe space in your home, you can cover up, close everything off, and try to stay warm. We also recommend getting a home inspection. If you have the money or you have a rather large home, you should be getting a home inspection at least once per year, but perhaps even more times per year is going to be even more beneficial, especially right before the winter, because your home is so large and there's so many things that could go wrong. A pipe could burst, you could have an electricity issue, there could be a hole, the roof could be unstable. There's just so many things that could happen with your home that we're not able to go over in this video. So you should just have a home inspection, and you should have a safe area in your home, so that way in a worst case scenario you have that kit available, and you know that your home is also going to be strong enough to handle crazy cold temperatures, crazy warm temperatures, crazy winds, blizzards, all of the stuff that can happen in winter. So let's say the worst case scenario happens. The power maybe goes out, you lose heating to your home. What do you need to do? Well, one of the first things you need to do is eliminate entrances and exits for the cold air to come in. So have no holes, no openings at all whatsoever. And if you can feel that getting closer to a window is going to get more and more cold, then you should maybe put another blanket or some type of layer between that window and kind of your room, so that way you can stay warm and no cold air is sneaking in. Go around your whole house, make sure there's nothing coming in, because there can be small cracks or holes. One small crack in a window can drop your temperature very, very quickly. So just make sure the windows are secure, everything is secure. The next thing you should do is, when the sun is out, you should open the blinds that have direct access to the sunlight. Don't open the windows, and if the windows have a crack in it, then it's maybe just better to keep everything sealed. But sunlight is a great source of natural heat. What happens with sunlight is the sun comes in through a window and the heat is able to come in, and then the heat isn't able to come out because the window blocks that. So the sun comes in, it generates warmth inside the room, but that warmth is not going to be able to leave because of that window, which is blocking everything. So when the sun is pointing towards a certain window, open that up and try to take advantage of that. Use metal or whatever you got to just, lay the blankets out, hang out in that room, because that's going to generate so much warmth, and make sure that heat doesn't escape. One thing we would like to warn you about, though, is using gas heat. Gasoline heated devices such as a car is not an adequate way to stay warm. The reason for this is because when you burn gasoline, it releases carbon monoxide. So for example, if you were stuck in your garage and you turn the car on, it's going to be burning gasoline and it's going to keep the garage warm. However, it's going to be burning gasoline, which is going to be releasing carbon monoxide, which is poisonous to you. And so after about 30 minutes, it's going to be at the point where it could suffocate you and you would die. So don't burn things that smell weird, have basically any smell, and if it makes you dizzy to go near the source of whatever is being burnt to stay warm, then don't burn that thing. You need to find another way to stay warm, and it's simply not worth it, because carbon monoxide poisoning is probably going to kill you before hypothermia. The next best thing to do is to layer up and get close. If in a worst case scenario, like you're getting really, really cold, layer up with several layers. Have several different layers of underwear, shorts, pants on. few different shirts, as many jackets as you can pile on, cover yourself up with blankets, and at first what you can do is you can actually breathe under the blankets, because when you breathe out, it's gonna release a lot of warm air, and then once that area is kind of warmed up, you can just stick like your nose out and only your nose and keep yourself completely tight and wrapped up, and that's going to keep you warm. We humans release a lot of body heat very, very quickly, and so this is going to trap the heat and keep you warm rather than it getting dispersed in the cold. So if you're with other people too and you're in a really severe situation, get close together, have everybody cuddle up and go under the blankets together, and that's gonna keep you guys insanely warm. Next thing you need to know is hypothermia. Hypothermia is usually what kills people in colder temperatures. Hypothermia is basically just the insides of your body getting too cold, and it causes different issues and you basically die. Call for help long before you think you have hypothermia. If you're feeling anything is off, run to get help immediately. It's not worth risking, and it can happen very, very quickly. And some of the stronger symptoms of hypothermia are going to be delusions, hallucinations, and loss of coordination, so you don't want to wait for it to get bad. Mild hypothermia is basically categorized by severe shivering, uncontrollable, insane jitters and shivering, and a loss of coordination. So if you're feeling a bit dizzy and off, then you might have mild hypothermia. You're losing energy rapidly, and simple tasks might begin to get a little bit harder. If that happens, you need to get help immediately. No waiting, don't worry about the medical cost, get help immediately. And this is when you need to start thinking creatively and doing extreme things, because moderate to severe hypothermia is characterized by slurred speech, severe energy loss, so if you're feeling really fatigued and you're unable to do anything, a weak pulse, the shivering might stop in higher level hypothermia. So if you're out in the cold and you're having no other symptoms but you're not shivering for some reason, you might have severe hypothermia and unexplained heat. This is one of the last symptoms of hypothermia before it kills the person, is you actually begin to start sweating and potentially feeling warm. And so it's very common for people with hypothermia to they're getting colder and colder, and then the shivering stops, and then they're like, what the heck, I'm feeling warm. You might start hallucinating. And so if you have any of the moderate to severe hypothermia symptoms, you might want to rewatch this video and remember that. That's when you need to seriously get some help, do some crazy things, because you need to get help immediately. We'd also like to add that a bit of shivering is completely normal, okay? If you're shivering, and even if it's a little bit high up, that's completely normal in cold temperatures. That happens with everyone. But if you begin to feel off and you're not able to really think, or you're kind of struggling with random things or dropping things or whatever, that's a dangerous sign of hypothermia. But normal shivering is completely normal. It can be a little bit harder to identify with people that aren't experienced in the cold, but if you feel off in any way, just get help immediately. Playing around in the cold is simply not worth the risks. Another random tip is to keep your hands warm, because your hands are probably going to be the most at-risk part of your body. Put it under your armpits. Your armpits are actually the warmest part of your body in severely cold temperatures. So by putting your hands under your armpits like this, you're gonna keep your hands warm, so that way they can still function in case you need to use it. Yet another tip is to avoid dehydration. Dehydration, or a lack of water, is associated with deserts and high temperatures. However, that's simply not the case. When you're extremely cold, you're not going to be as thirsty, and so it's very easy to just not be thinking about water because maybe you're cold. However, you can still get dehydrated, and it actually happens very frequently, where people in the cold are able to find a way to stay warm by snuggling up, doing the other things that we just mentioned, but then they forget to drink water, and as a result of not being able to drink water, they then get sick, and that's one of the ways that people die in the cold. So make sure you're drinking lots of water. Warm water is better than cool water if possible. Don't eat snow unless you absolutely have to and you really feel like you're dying from thirst. Always try to drink water or somehow break down ice, because when you eat snow, snow is so cold that when you put it in your body, it's gonna cool your body down, so it puts you more at risk for hypothermia. Don't get wet. That's another huge one as well. If you're wet, you're gonna get colder something like 25 times faster than if you're dry. Simply just a little bit of wetness is going to keep you insanely cold. It's very hard to warm up, and so just don't get wet at all. Absolutely avoid getting wet in cold temperatures. And one of our last tips would be to stay active. In a worst case scenario, if you can't cover up, you can't find a source of heat, you can't get help, you need to stay active. Put your hands under your armpits and start jumping around. Keep your body moving, because when you're moving, it's going to be getting blood flowing through your body. It's going to be getting rid of fat. It's going to be burning different energies inside of you. And at the very least, it's going to keep your mind active. So start jogging some direction, wherever you think is help, and stay active. By staying moving, you're going to keep your body temperature warm on the inside, which is the only important part when it comes to hypothermia. And our final tip for you guys is, if all else fails, be adaptive. There are other solutions that you might be able to think of in the present moment based on your scenario. In a very cold environment, you need to think in terms of solutions and not in terms of problems. Define your problems and figure out what the solutions are. Just take a deep breath, analyze the situation, and start making movement. Start finding solutions and start trying to do something. You can get cold very, very fast, and the more cold you get, the sicker you're gonna get, and the harder it's going to be to find a solution. So if you think that you might be in a scary, life-threatening situation, you need to start finding solutions as soon as you can, so that way you don't get hurt and you can stay alive. And of course, it's always better to prepare extensively before journeying out into cold temperatures or before the winter, so stay prepared, get a home inspection, make sure you have the proper gear wherever you're going, so that way you can just stay warm and you have everything prepared for you. We hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you have any questions about severely cold temperatures, leave a comment in the comment section below. We hope you enjoyed the video, and please leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Thankfully, spring is right around the corner. I am sure you guys are all looking forward to it, as I am. Hope you enjoyed the video again, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.